alcohol we have is butan-1-ol. It has the molecular formula C4H9OH. What we're interested in is the carbon which contains the functional group, which is known as the hydroxyl group. And the definition of a primary alcohol is the carbon which contains the hydroxyl group is bonded to one other carbon atom. So to class an alcohol from its name, we need to know that the hydroxyl group will always be in position 1 and can be found within the name, and that there will be no branch on the same position as the hydroxyl group. The first stage of oxidation is the loss of hydrogen. One hydrogen is removed from the hydroxyl group, and the second is removed from the carbon which contains the hydroxyl group. When drawing the product, you need to make sure that each element has the correct number of bonds. So now we form a carbon to oxygen double bond. Primary alcohols undergo the first stage of oxidation to form the family, the alkanals. This forms a carbonyl functional group. The name of this product would be known as butanal. The way to remember the name of the family is with the little rhyme, alkanal has a pal, meaning that the carbon to oxygen double bond has a hydrogen directly attached. The old chemical name for alkanals are aldehydes, and the way that I remember that is that it's got the letter H in its name, and you would always play hide and seek with your pal. The second stage of oxidation is the gain of an oxygen atom. Oxygen has an electronegativity of 3.5, which is stronger than that of the hydrogen, which is bonded to the carbon which contains the functional group. Oxygen can then take the hydrogen's place to form a new functional group. The product of the second stage of oxidation will form a carboxylic acid. The name of the functional group which we have now formed, which is our C double bond O OH, is known as the carboxyl group. The name of this compound which has now been formed is known as butanoic acid. So let's look at a summary of the oxidation of primary alcohols. We need to be able to know the name of the family, the name of the functional group, and how that functional group is drawn to be able to identify that from a full structural formula. Primary alcohols will have the hydroxyl group, which is an OH. After the first stage of oxidation, it will lose hydrogen to form an alkanal. The name of that functional group is the carbonyl, which can be identified as a C double bond OH. Please remember to also have the little bond coming out of the carbon on the right hand side, as carbon has a valence of 4. The second stage of oxidation is the gain of an oxygen atom. The name of the family produced would be the carboxylic acids. The name of the functional group is the carboxyl, and we can identify that as our C double bond O OH. So here are some examples for you to have a go. I have given you the full structural formula and name of propan-1-ol and methanol. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to take them through each stage of oxidation, drawing the full structural formula for the product and to name each product produced. When you're ready, the answers will pop up on the screen and you can double check your answers. This past paper questions from the Revised Higher 2012 Multiple Choice 17. Which line in the table shows the correct functional group for each homologous series? It's really important that you know the names of the families and the names of the functional groups and how they are drawn. So the correct answer to this multiple choice answer is multiple choice answer B. This past paper questions from the Higher 2018 Multiple Choice 6. Ethyl rose is a chemical which is known to kill cancer cells. The two functional groups present are. So this is where we have to know our functional groups, the names of the functional groups, and how to identify them from a structure. We can clearly see that we have a hydroxyl group and a carbonyl functional group. So the correct answer to this is multiple choice answer C. This past paper questions from the revised higher 2012 multiple choice 18. Which alcohol could be oxidised to form a carboxylic acid? What we need to remember is that primary alcohols undergo the first stage of oxidation to form alkanals and then undergo a second stage of oxidation to form carboxylic acids. Remember our definition. A primary alcohol, the carbon which contains the hydroxyl group, is bonded to one other carbon atom. So the correct answer to this, multiple choice answer D. This past paper questions from the higher 2019 written 9D3 part A. Ethane 1,2-diol is harmful because it is oxidised in the body to form glycolic acid. Draw a structural formula for another possible product of oxidation of ethane 1,2-diol. What we can see is on the left hand side we have the hydroxyl group. The carbon which contains the hydroxyl group is bonded to one other carbon atom, so is known as a primary alcohol. Primary alcohols can undergo two stages of oxidation. If it's the loss of hydrogen, we would form an alkanal and the product would look like this. However, if it underwent the second stage of oxidation, it would form a carboxylic acid, so the product would be this.